'Tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh. So, Marvel. New movie, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, just came out today, and I wanted to take a look at Marvel stuff. And I wanted to talk about the movie, but also I was like, a lot of people talking about the movie already. I wanted to take a little bit of a different look at something else. And why not take a look at some mobile games, shall we? Mobile games are a thing, right? We all know them. Some of us like them, a lot of us hate them. It's a thing. And I think you'll be surprised just how many Marvel games exist for mobile systems. I honestly expected there to be a little bit more than what I found. I found quite a bit, and I'll go through the 7 I have here before you. But I expected like a Lego game here and there. I didn't find those that probably existed on here at some point, but they're not here anymore. 7 is still quite a lot though, so alright, I'm just gonna start because there's a lot to get through. So let's start with our first game here. We got Marvel Contest of Champions, which is a 2D fighter, and not a very in-depth one, which you can imagine because it's a mobile game. But I'll say this out front, the graphics are pretty good, and I think that that's a consistent through line through most of these games, is that the graphics are surprisingly good for what they are. But it's one of those games where, you download the app, and then the app needs to update, and then it has a whole nother downloading screen where it just takes forever to download a downloaded thing. So it's just a lot of data to be put on for a single game. But if you like the 2D fighters so much that you can't go without for a long time, this is an option, but you're legitimately getting the most bare bones. Even going back to like old handhelds, they're more complex than this. You literally have like a heavy attack, a medium attack, a light attack, a block, and then like a evade. That's it. You have 5 moves. You can even like free move. You can only like dash ahead with the medium attack or dash back, like I said. That's it. There's not much here, but you can go ahead and take a peek if you don't trust me in that. These are all free. None of these cost a penny to start. They all have things you can buy on top of it to like get more. That's how mobile games are. So they're all free to try. So that's our first game. And then we have one I had heard of. So I guess this one, it must be a pretty big one, is Marvel Future Fight. Now this is a lot like the My Hero game, Strongest Hero, which I made a whole video about by itself. And that game I was surprised by because of like the open world area. The combat was interesting enough. This game really has similar ties to that. To make sense, it's another superhero product. So having a whole nother game of that, if you really like that game, you'll really like this game on a gameplay level. But the rest of the game is near unbearable. I said the graphics are decent, and they are, but the sound in this game is awful. There's hardly any voice acting, if any. There's a lack of music, and the sound effects are so jarring that they hurt to listen to a lot of the time. And you can listen here because I'll play some for you. It's just an onslaught of sound, and it's very unpleasant to play. This is probably my least favorite of these games, but there's like a better version in Marvel Future Revolution, which is made by the same team. It's basically the same game, but hey, this one has voice acting and better music, at least some music, and the sound's fixed. So if you really like this type of game, if you really like Strongest Hero and you want another like game like that, this one has a better opening too. You get to play as Star-Lord, and that's a lot of fun, and you get to go through this fight, and it's better. It's straight up better. There's no reason, I think, unless you're really interested in the story of Future Fight, to get into that other than Future Revolution. So going away from more combat heavy, we have, obviously it's going to stay combat, but we go to turn-based combat, and we have Marvel Strike Force, which is a turn-based RPG, which is interesting. It changes up the genre. I feel like they're running out of ideas, not in a bad way, but they're really just running the gamut on every genre that they can with these types of games, which is a good thing. So if you hate action RPGs, you can delve into a turn-based RPG. So a little something for everyone in that sense, but this, again, doesn't feel very deep. The characters have a lack of moves. There's a lack of strategy because of a lack of moves. Obviously, there'll be strategy involved in who to hit first and what move to use when and what character to go. Simple RPG strategy, but other than that, there's not a lot of depth here. But something I will say about a lot of these games, and this one in particular, is the character rosters are very good in these games. Like, obviously, they want you to play a lot, and they want you to spend money to be able to get more characters because there's a lot of characters to get. But there's a lot of good characters to get, so that's okay in my book. I mean, heck, this Ghost Rider in this game, that's a cool one. You don't see him everywhere, even though a lot of people love Ghost Rider. And hey, this Dazzler? I'm a Dazzler fan for life. I'm like Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Put a poster up on my wall and all that. And damn, Morbius. There's a Morbius in this game. I know some of you out there like that Morbius, so this might be the game for you. But in all seriousness, this is just a pretty bog standard turn-based RPG, which, if you're a fan of that, have at it. If you're not, and you're not even a fan of combat games, you might be more inclined to something like a puzzle game, because of course there's a Match 3 puzzle game, and wouldn't you know it, Marvel Puzzle Quest Hero RPG is an RPG 3-match puzzle game in which you use characters to match 3 gems in a row, and you can attack your opponent. It's a match 3. What more can you say? It's not the best match I've ever played. It might be the worst. I don't think it's the worst, because the Marvel branding brings a lot of interesting characters to the table, so it has that going for it. But other than that, just play Candy Crush or something else, I guess. There's so many options when it comes to this genre. I don't know why you picked this one. The RPG stuff is so out of place. It's so useless, like there's no point. I guess it's trying to differentiate itself by doing that, but by doing that, you're just overcomplicating this genre that doesn't need to be overcomplicated. You can just keep it simple, and people will like it. There's a reason these games are as popular as they are. Trying to mess with their formula isn't going to fix that. So, staying with the non-combat side of things, we have a drawing game. Now, this is the least game of the games, but it's at least worth mentioning. Up front, it has a subscription model, which the rest of the games don't, but you can do some stuff for free, and there's even a free trial to try this out. So if you're a big fan of coloring more than drawing, but Marvel Color Your Own. I don't think I mentioned the game title. It's a pretty straight-on name. I don't think you can mess it up. So Marvel Color Your Own is you take pages of comic books, of actual Marvel comic books, and you get to color them in. So you can color them whatever you want. Obviously, the free version doesn't have every option, doesn't have every page, doesn't have every color, every style, and yeah, it gives you a nice taste of what's in the game. And there's even like some Star Wars stuff, some Marvel comics that are Star Wars, so that's pretty cool. Even in the couple minutes that I messed around in this, I created some cool things. This one of Darth Vader, I think, looks kind of nice, so even this took not long at all. If you're a fan of like simple like coloring games, and you like just to have something for your hands to do, and your mind wanders, and you just want to focus in on coloring in some coloring pages, then this is an option. You can do everything. Like, I just like using the paint bucket. It's like a paint by numbers at that point. You can fill stuff in, or you can use like crayons and stuff and really get in there and really focus in, and you make the most of this. If this seems like your thing, I'm not going to yuck your yum here, because this legitimately seems like a pretty neat tool. Subscription model I'm not a huge fan of, but hey, you get to color in a lot of cool Marvel history. So that's a neat thing. And we saved the best for last year. This is the game that made me want to make this video. More than just Wakanda Forever coming out today, I wanted to talk about Marvel Snap. Now, this game, I got through the thought process of, I'm so tired of hearing ads for this game. I'm sick of seeing them. Let's see how bad this game is. Now, that's the mindset I walked into this with. And, you know, that's not the best mindset to walk into anything, really. But, you know, I played Marvel Contest of Champions and Marvel Strike Force way back in the day when they first came out, and I was bored to tears by them. So talking about them now, I don't have a great history with them, and even replaying them for this video, they didn't win me over. But Marvel Snap did. Now, it's made by the team that made Hearthstone, so they have a history of making well-made card games. So that was my first clue that maybe this will be something different. And it was. Straight up, I have been decently addicted to this game. I haven't been addicted to a mobile game since I was in middle school, probably. So it's been kind of interesting to have that. And it's just a simple card game. And games are quick. There's a lot of great characters to use, and every card feels different, like different play costs, different effects, different powers, and there's a lot of ups and downs to a lot of different cards, and there's a lot of characters to see, like I said, for all of these games, really, except for, I guess you could say the painting one, but even then you could just see a lot, because you get to go through Marvel history. But the character roster is great. Every time it's great, and this one's no exception, and you can build out like different variants of the same card. Like every card has different, there's like a pixel variant, there's like a QT variant, and there's like a different variants per card, and that's really cool. And the whole point of the game is to build your collection. That's how you level up. Like the rarer your cards are, the more cards you can get, and so the better you can be. And the game itself is pretty fun too. Like it's pretty typical, like turn 1 you get 1 energy, so you can play 1 energy card. Turn 2 you get 2 energy, so you can either play 1 2 energy card or 2 1 energy cards, and that's, you know, where strategy comes in. And there's 3 places to put them, and those 3 areas have different effects, and so it's always like you put cards based on what you have and their effects, work with the effects on the field. That's a whole game. It's very simple to play, pretty difficult to fully master. My time with this game, I've played a lot of interesting games, and there's a cool mechanic where you can snap, ergo Marvel Snap, and you can double the cost of winning or losing. So when you win or lose a game, you actually steal points from your opponent's total points. So like when you level up a prestige or whatever, so you're rank 10. To get to that, you have to earn 10 cubes per level. So when you win, typically it's only 2 cubes up for grabs. Unless you ditch a game, whether on accident or on purpose, you lose a cube if you leave before the final turn. But if you snap, you double it, so you can get 4 or lose 4. The fun thing is you can double snap, so they can be up to 8 cubes to grab, which is a pretty cool thing. That's an extra strategy on top of that, because you can use it to intimidate your opponent, you can use it to bluff your opponent, you can just be silly and just throw it out there if you want to. This game's a lot of fun. I see myself playing this for a good while. Like any game, I'll eventually get bored of it and stop, but for the time being, I find this game to be really cool. I very much look forward to when multiplayer becomes a thing, and my friends can play it with me, and we can do a lot of PvP, different decks, different challenges, different ideas, test it out. That'll be fun. And if you haven't played Marvel Snap, I recommend that. If any of the other games looked interesting to you, take a peek at those as well. But Marvel Snap would be my full recommendation for this video. Go give it a try if you haven't. It's a blast. And yeah, have you played any of these? Have you seen Wakanda Forever? If you're watching this in the future, probably. It seems like it's going to be a very, very lucrative film, even by Marvel standards. So I hope it's good. I'll probably go see it soon. Anyways, that'll about do it for me. Thank you so very much for watching. As always, like this if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.